is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Financial advisor, just a guy that loves crypto. How you doing, Joe? How you feeling, baby? You feeling all right?
Doing well, Big O. Going home to New York, where I grew up, to see my mom, my sister, my cousins. We're gonna have a little early Christmas, do some exchanging of gifts. It'll be fun.
Good. So you got the gifts now, because you know you won't be able to buy one in December.
Yeah, everything was sent via Amazon to my mom's house.
Nice. That is very nice. I like that. And the boys are playing some good defense, man. Joe, if you can get this defense to play this way, you got a shot at least at being pretty damn competitive in all these games and having a chance to win, considering this schedule.
Yeah, I mean, they can compete with anybody. You look at their next four opponents, they have twice as many losses as wins. You look at the Jets twice, the Giants, the Panthers. These are certainly all winnable games. Of course, we have to keep in mind the Dolphins have lost to the Falcons and Jaguars and Colts. So, they can beat any team, they can lose to any team, such as life in the NFL. But certainly the defense has given you cause for optimism over the last 2 weeks. Some more creativity, some more blitzes, some more pressure. This is a talented young defense, and they should be where they were last year, among the top 10 defenses in the NFL. And it was very strange that they weren't earlier in the season. Things just seemed to be a little bit off.
So let me ask you something. Why? What happened, Joe? Why are we watching the amoeba and all that other stuff happen now? Why did they go back to what they were last year? Why weren't they that throughout the year? And I know you can't get any kind of honesty or anything out of Flo, because all he does is try to craft anything and try to tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it's frustrating, dude. Can you figure it out why?
Well, I think injuries would be an under-discussed factor. So, for example, players like Xavier Howard and Byron Jones were banged up. They had multiple injuries. If you remember, in London, neither played. And if Howard and Jones played, they probably would have beaten the Jaguars. Now, every team has injuries, and you need to overcome that. But when you have two corners who are Pro Bowl caliber, all pro in Xavier Howard's case, you want to be able to allow them to play tight man-to-man coverage and put as many as 8 or even 9 players up near the line of scrimmage to cause havoc, because you trust them to cover things on their own. Well, when they have groins and ankles and knees and quads and things of that nature, it makes it harder. So that's one reason that I think they were playing more zone coverage, more soft coverage, not as aggressive.
So, I mean, it's frustrating, bro, because and the other thing is, it's entertaining to watch, that's the other thing.
Identity.
Yeah.
They actually have an identity.
Yes.
They have no identity on offense. No identity on offense. So to have an attacking, every defensive coordinator I've ever met says we want to be aggressive, we want to be attacking, we want to take the ball away. I mean, but not all of the coaches use the strategy and the scheme and the play calling that align with what they say in the press conferences. And Brian Flores and Josh Boyer, and Brian Flores insists that it's Josh Boyer making the play calls with input from Brian Flores. They've gotten back to what they were doing last year, and it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, no, it's a lot more fun to watch, man. All right, O-line. I talked about this earlier in the week, and I got some people around the league, and they're kind of telling me that Eichenberg has zero business being a left tackle. Doesn't matter what he did at Notre Dame. He's a right tackle. That's where he should be. And one former offensive line coach told me his guess is they kept Austin Jackson there so long because they have zero confidence in anyone else playing that position, and that it's solely out of desperation why Eichenberg is there, that eventually he'll end up at right tackle. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's true? Because when I start to think about it, it makes a lot of sense. that we all were going, why are you keeping Austin Jackson there? Why are you keeping Austin Jackson there? And that's because whether it's Greg Little or Larnell Coleman or whoever else you've had back there, you didn't feel any good about, you felt worse about those guys than what you currently have. So I'm just wondering, have you been able to dabble in all of that? And if you know anything about what the coaching staff's thinking with the O linemen, because the
They're
guys,
just trying to survive, man. They're just trying to survive.
right.
I mean, this is the worst offensive line in the NFL. I gave them an F on my midseason report card. It's the first F I've ever given to any coach or player group since returning to the Dolphins beat for the midseason report card. They're terrible at pass blocking. They're terrible at run blocking. Now, there were a few decent moments last week. Sorry if you hear my puppy in the background. We got a 10-week-old puppy.
Anybody that's a dog lover I'm a lover of them. Okay?
I can tell you my wife and my daughter are dog lovers.
Well, dog
I
lovers
signed
are
off
good
on the
people.
acquisition of Tucker, who is not named after Justin Tucker. My wife's going to bring the puppy over here.
PJ Tucker of the Heat.
PJ Tucker. All right, my wife is going to bring over the puppy. This is Tucker. Meet Tucker.
I love it.
So
I love it. Tell your wife I have 5 dogs, 4 of them, and 1 puppy. There he is. There we go. Tucker, yeah. That is awesome.
Weighs about as much as a football.
Well, that's all right.
Listen, it's a shame Greg Little got injured in practice on Monday because maybe they would have actually given him a chance. Now, if Greg Little was some dominant, gem that they found that they think can be great, he would have already been in the lineup. All right, but let's at least see, right? Give him a shot.
Right.
So, but now he's hurt. And he's out for at least 3 weeks. So, maybe Eichenberg gets settled down. I agree. Eichenberg's long-term future might very well be at right tackle. That's the position he was drafted to play. But it's also true that it's been real unfair to the kid. You've trotted him out at right tackle, right guard, left tackle. His feet are getting all mixed up. And, he was supposed to be technically sound, but he hasn't been technically sound because his brain is all overloaded. So I suspect that if you leave him there at left tackle over the next 4 games, he's not going to give up 7 sacks. That is my prediction. But the Dolphins, it's kind of sad, man. They moved on from Laramie Tunsil. They used 3 high draft picks on tackles, Robert Hunt, Liam Eichenberg, and Austin Jackson. And there's a chance that they still need to go draft or pay their left tackle. That is a big miss.
Pay. Yeah, I don't know which one. I don't know who's free agent next year, but if there's you can't keep going young now. Now I think you got to find yourself a real offensive line coach, which Flo has already proven he can't find a coordinator or an O-line coach. So I would fire him at the end of the year. If you can't build a staff, you can't be a head coach in the NFL, period. I don't care what Flo knows about defense, and he knows defense, but obviously he can't build a staff. But you've got to get yourself a grizzled offensive line coach. And Joe, if there's a legit left tackle out there available in free agency, go overpay for him and go overpay for another veteran lineman. You need to sprinkle in some serious experience.
Yeah, Trent Williams a couple of years ago was available, and that was kind of a miss. That's the kind of guy that the Dolphins.
Amen.
It was not part of the rebuild plan to add someone who was 30 to 33. But especially if you get a Deshaun Watson in here next year, it's going to make a lot of sense to pay a tackle.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. That's hopefully that'll be the case. Any changes are you expecting this week anywhere on offense?
No, Jared Dokes has been brought up as a possibility. Savon Ahmed and Patrick Laird haven't gotten many tackles. Why not give Jared Dokes, the late rounder from Cincinnati, a physical kid with Malcolm Brown out, maybe a chance to play? Brian Flores did not tell us that was.
Oop, we lost you there, Joe. Wait a minute. He froze? Joe is frozen in time. See, he's there. He's frozen. We got to get him unfrozen.
Are we good now?
There we go. Now you go, Joe. Go ahead.
Big O, I was at.
Oh, froze again. He's frozen again. He's freezing. He's back. I think he is now unfrozen in time. He is no longer the Go-Go's. His lips are no longer sealed. There you are. All right. And he's smiling and everything. All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing, Big O. I was
Yes.
out of practice yesterday, and I saw this huge target making these great catches, fully extended. I said, who is that guy?
Uh-oh.
Who is that guy? It was Hunter Long. Let's get Hunter Long on the field, please. I don't care if you have to line him up with Gesicki and Smythe and Shaheen. Who cares? Use 4 tight ends.
You're not going to get an argument. You don't have enough receivers. So go use your tight ends, dude. You don't have enough reliable receivers.
Devontae
Use your
Parker and
tight
Will
ends.
Fuller are out. You can't tell me Hunter Long doesn't know what to do. This is a sharp guy. Let's see Hunter Long. What did Hunter Long do wrong?
Last time I checked, you actually have to hit the books at Boston College. Okay, that's actually not one of those places that you can just go and go do underwater basket weaving and they're going to get you right through. No, at Boston College they actually have to kind of hit the books. So I'm sure, and Brian Flores, I'm sure he's here because of Brian Flores. So I don't know what the hell is going on with all of this, man.
Use Gesicki as a receiver. Have Gesicki run receiver routes.
That's what he is,
and put Hunter Long in Gesicki's spot.
Got no problem with that, dude.
And I know Gesicki had no catches on 7 targets last week, which is weird. Does that give you any pause relative to paying the guy?
No. Gesicki? Not at all. No, I love Gesicki. He's a playmaker, bro.
It's a little weird that he's had no catches and two wins.
That's these idiots here. That's not him. I don't blame. I think Jalen Waddle would be a Pro Bowler on a real offense, dude. Like if I grab Tua, Waddle, and Gesicki, and I go and I say, hey, Sean Payton, have fun. And I give him those 3 guys. His team's in the playoffs. All 3 guys are having terrific seasons because he would know how to actually use those guys. You'd actually see Waddle like downfield, catching bombs and making big-ass plays. I blame everything on the O-line coach, the offensive coordinator, and the head coach, Joe. All of the problems on offense, I blame it on them. I can blame the front office for depending on way too many injury-prone wide receivers.
Would you bet?
That was not smart. That was not smart.
If this was a bet, you bet $900 to win $100 that the Dolphins have a new offensive coordinator next year. Would you lay the $900?
Oh, easy. And an offensive line coach.
Okay, so if the odds were 9 to 1, right? So how much would you be willing to wager on each offensive line and offensive coordinator? 1,000 to win. So 9,000 to win 1,000.
Yeah.
Are you that confident?
Yes, that confident.
Wow.
If you come back with these guys, you're waving the white flag. It's over. It's over. It's done.
There's no way.
It's done. Yeah,
There's no way.
You cannot come back with these coaches, Nick. Dude, you can't come back with Flo next year. He can't find a coach.
Don't be done with Flores. I'm not done with Flores.
I am. I'm done with. Well, Joe. If he can't build a coaching staff, how will he ever succeed? Explain that to me. If you had an offensive coordinator, you basically scared him off last year in Shangaley.
Well, he wasn't the long-term solution. He was a stopgap solution.
But dude, I would stopgap with his ass until I find like a real coordinator. And then instead, you scared off that guy, and you came up with this, concoction of 3 guys, 3 stooges arguing about calls every 40 seconds. I mean, that's stupid. It was ridiculous.
It was a miscalculation.
He's going to be on his
critical errors of the Brian Flores era.
Yeah, and he's going to be on his 4th offensive line coach if he hires another one. I mean, dude, if you can't find an offensive line coach or offensive coordinator, you cannot be a head coach. You can't be a CEO, Joe, if you can't replace your managers. You can't be a casino manager if you can't replace your dealers. You can't be any kind of a leader of any kind of a business if you cannot replace your good employees, because all good employees will move on, will get elevations, will better themselves, and you will have to replace good employees. This guy replaces one shitty employee with another shitty employee. That does not make any sense.
But I will say this: there's only so many NFL offensive coordinator positions available. That's 32.
Right.
And so when you have an opportunity to hire a Cliff Kingsbury type who breaks free because he's the head coach at Texas Tech and he gets fired, okay, which is what USC did, and then of course they lost into the NFL. But there's always going to be guys like that who maybe didn't work as head coaches, but are now suddenly free. And he should hire someone like that, someone who's a proven, established offensive play caller. So I am picking the Dolphins to win this week. I wanted to let you know that before I roll here in a couple of minutes. Dolphins, I believe I picked them to cover. So Dolphins to cover. Nice. I'm not too worried about Joe Flacco instead of Zach Wilson. I like them destroying Zach Wilson. I still think they beat up Joe Flacco.
Oh, yeah, so do I. I definitely. Stiff-ass Flacco, he can't move around. I would blitz him and make his life almost impossible this week. I don't think he's the guy that's going to – like last week, the Dolphins play that defense with Brady or Rodgers or Russell Wilson. They lose by 40. But if you're not playing against a great passer that can read and react really quickly – you're going to be able to create some havoc, and I think they'll be able to do that against that guy. I do.
The Jets are a mess defensively, and this is a great opportunity for Tua. Sore rib, sore finger, or not. Hey, maybe you put Hunter Long out there, and he has 120 yards receiving. Just saying.
Hey, listen, that ball was in the air to Waddle 45 yards with a fractured finger. So. Anybody who wants to talk crap that he can't throw a deep ball with a fractured finger, he completed a 45-yard pass. So, the kid can throw. Just let's get him healthy and keep him healthy and build a wall of Montezuma in front of him. Get him a real offensive coach and a real offensive line coach, and I think he'll be just fine.
It is strange that Jalen Waddle has only 3 catches of more than 20 yards. It's one of the most mind-boggling stats, and yet he's 6th in the NFL in catches.
I used to joke around that Ryan Tannehill was the man in the box, that Alice in Chains song. I used to play it all the time. Well, believe it or not, this is an offense in a box. It's just it just is, because it just doesn't have the time to play outside the box, and that's the sad part. Nobody can get downfield. It's almost impossible. It has to be a broken play where he scrambles and then he buys himself some time. And again, these idiots never move around the launch point. They never roll the kid out enough. I just don't get these guys. I really don't. But it is what it is. Joe, love you, brother. Great stuff as always. We'll talk on Sunday as we get ready for a little Jets and Dolphins. And be safe and enjoy the family, my friend.
Thanks, bud. See you.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad, baby.
This is the